Welcome, everyone, to Chirping Zebras, episode 66. It's obvious, the Mario Lemieux episode. Mark Riley alongside Geno, Binda Jr., as always, coming to you from AOA Studios up in Beverly, the best place to tape a podcast or whatever you want to tape. I want to thank our sponsor off the hop, the Referee's Crease, your one-stop shop for all your refereeing needs. And want to remind you to like and subscribe, smash that subscribe button, as the kids say, on YouTube. And also find us on all the social medias, the Instagram, Facebook, and, of course,
the TikTok.
The TikTok. Find us on that, too. And like and
jump in or not.
Like and subscribe. Well, I was
the universal jump in sign. I should have just, I should have.
I kind of, outside of saying, fucking say it. Anyway, we're not supposed to swear in the first 5 minutes. And last week, speaking of swearing, last week, Mike Shue, fantastic.
Yeah, awesome.
From Pike 100 FM, the Pike in Worcester, and he was formerly of WAF, and he was fantastic.
And he's also a Frisbee golf expert.
Well, remember, you don't call it Frisbee golf. I found that out.
Well,
it's disc golf.
Disc golf, that's
and
right.
And I didn't
they're
know.
not Frisbees, they're discs.
And there's some people have like up to 100 different discs to go play golf.
Yep.
To
your own disc
golf.
bag.
Yeah. I didn't know. I thought you just got a whammo and whipped it around.
I did too. I thought it was just one and you go, and then you lose them.
It'd be like us
like
golfing.
A fluorescent orange one.
Yeah, we'd need to go to BJ's and pick up a 6-pack of them.
And then it lands in the freaking
chain.
leaves, and it's orange. You know, you're screwed. You're not finding that.
Well, we're gonna go disc golfing with him. He invited us out.
All right.
So we're gonna go and whip the disc around.
Let's do it.
Why not? What could go wrong?
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched that episode 65, Mike Shue.
And this is 66. And didn't you chirp Mario Lemieux at one of your shows?
Yeah. So I was doing a comedy show for Mike Ruzioni, who every time he calls me, whoever I'm with, I go, Olympic hero, Mike Ruzioni. I was doing a thing for him over in Winthrop for his celebrity golf, and Mario Lemieux was there. And so I, talk about how I hate Canada, joking, of course. Well, and everyone's like, "Oh, Mario's here," and I was like, "I know Mario's here," and I was like, "Mario, what are you, the third best player ever?" and everyone's like, "What?" And he luckily laughed. And I said, "Come on, Bobby Orr, Gretzky did a few things, and then you. That ain't a bad company."
No.
And so then I said, "You're a pretty big guy still. You look like you still play for tonight, so you don't kick my ass. You're number one." And then later on, I said, "Mario, how much was sticks when you were a kid?" And he went, "I've never paid for a stick." And I said, "Fuck you, you're back to number 3. And luckily, he found it funny, which was good.
That's a humor.
No, he's an awesome guy. Awesome guy. And it definitely, I think, top 3. Bobby Orr, Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, for me.
Didn't Ray Bork just recently say Lemieux was the toughest player he's ever played against?
I'm sure. He's huge.
Yeah.
And if he didn't have the back injuries, I think he would have, been breaking records.
Oh, he would have crushed records.
Gretzky, right. The guy had everything. He was a complete package.
Right.
But yeah, so I chirped Lemieux.
Very good.
And our guest tonight probably have spent time with Mario Lemieux when he's in town. It's really cool because our guests tonight go way back with me to our childhood. But you might recognize them. They have more TV time than I do, and I'm a D-list celebrity. I moved up recently from E, and they're the let me see if I can get this right. The security event managers.
Correct.
Of the Boston Garden, TD Garden, Jimmy and Jack McCorkle. Welcome to the Zebras.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate being here.
And one thing I love right off the hop, we have 3 Zavarian guys and 1 BC High guy. So we finally outnumbered. And 3-on-1 is a fair fight in Celtics.
Yes, it is.
As
Yes,
we all
it
know.
is. Yep.
As we
That's a
all
normal
know.
fight in Southie.
The old salty shot.
Right? Absolutely.
Ox for life.
Yes.
So you guys have been around. So at the Garden, you've been around everyone. I mean, how long have you been there? Because your dad worked there. Is
Yes,
how
he
you
worked
guys
there. Yep.
got the gig, right?
No, actually,
No.
I got the gig first when I was at Stonehill. I walked into the cafeteria, and there was a guy there that worked for a security company. He was saying, "Oh, come work. We need people. We need college kids to work." So I'm like, "Oh, I'll do it." So I did it while I was at Stonehill. Started in February of '88. First event I worked was a Celtics Hawks game. First live basketball game I ever saw in my life.
Wow.
We were hockey.
Right,
We were hockey guys.
yeah.
We were hockey guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, February of '88 when I started. So what's that? 37 years.
A long time ago. Wow. Yeah, we graduated in '87. So
I had hair back then.
yeah.
I was born in '82.
I know you were
Oh,
6.
boy, do I feel old now.
Right? So you
Now I
actually
really
were-
don't like him because even with the BCI now he
By the
just
end of
selfish.
this.
I know he's younger, and although not for nothing, I might be the oldest one here, and I get the best lettuce. So there you go. He hides his under the hat, or lack thereof. So you were the first
Yep.
McCorkle at the Garden. See, I thought it was your dad.
No, he didn't go there till he retired after his long career on the Mass Turnpike.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and his last event he worked there was the day they raised the Bruins Stanley Cup banner.
In
Nice.
2011.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
September-
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, October 2011.
Wow. That's really cool. And then when did you get involved?
Well, I went to school out in Nichols, out by Worcester. So
The Bison.
the Bison, yes,
Right?
absolutely, absolutely. Not a very good hockey, not a very good hockey team when I played there. We were 2-22 my freshman year.
They're still not.
I know we're not the Curry Colonels, but whatever. Okay.
No, we've frozen 4. Just throwing it out there.
So when I graduated, really for the first year, I used to go in back when I was young and I could do this. I'd go in on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and hang out with these guys afterwards. And somebody's like, "You come in here every weekend. Why don't you just start working here?"
Made sense.
So I started working there the next September, and my first event was the Grateful Dead.
Wow.
What an experience that is!
Holy smokes.
The only place you could walk into the old Boston Garden at 4:30 in the afternoon, the day after a show, and still get high.
Yeah, that was back when that happened.
Yes.
Right? Holy
So
smokes.
I was 2 years in the old building, and obviously I've been in the new building since it opened.
Wow. That's so cool. So who, Elton John's been there, right? I know Elton John because you guys called my brother because he had some dental
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm messing up a HIPAA law, but, well, I didn't work on him. But Elton John had the dental
And I don't know what
problem.
you're talking about.
Exactly. Well, my brother's a Bruins dentist for 31 years, and so you guys called him. He went in. I mean, I don't know if do you get any bigger than Elton John? I mean, he's Sir Elton John now.
Sir
wasn't
Elton John, yeah.
So, was there anyone bigger than him?
I mean, we've had Sir Paul McCartney,
Oh,
obviously.
he was a Beatle,
Yeah,
right? That's
that's pretty big.
Beatle?
Yeah, that's big.
You know, we did. We just had so many shows there. Like I think back to 2004, the Democratic National Convention.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
I don't want to get political, but just seeing how the whole process worked, forget what party you are, was fascinating to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And just seeing them and their speeches and
Now, who was that?
That was-
Clinton,
nope, it was Kerry and
Mondale.
nope,
I'm throwing out
Mondale.
politicians.
I can't think of the guy.
Who did Kerry run with?
Who did Kerry run
I
with?
forget who Kerry ran
I
with.
do forget who carried around with. Only if there was a device that we could look up something.
Well,
like that.
he lost, so
Yeah,
that's
where's
why
that
we don't
producer?
remember.
Yeah.
Right?
Where's that producer?
We got the
I should be
Google
looking this
machine
shit
right
up.
here. I know. Where's Josh when you need him? Josh Dolan, our producer. He's MIA.
Yeah. Well, you told him not to come.
No, he wanted to come. You know why? So it was funny because when I told Josh you guys were coming on, he goes, up until like a couple of years ago, I thought I didn't know there was 2 of them. Because you guys are twins. He goes, every time I'd see one, and then I'd see the other, and I'd go, how the hell did he get over there so fast?
It's
And so-
funny you say that. There's a lot of people in that building that do not realize, or at one point did not realize there was 2 of us.
That's
And that
hilarious.
includes players, families, and things like that. They were like,
That's
I
funny.
didn't know there was 2 of you.
That's nuts.
That's awesome.
That is hilarious. So, McCartney, I mean, how many events have you done? Have you kept track?
If not,
It's great. I mean, you figure there's 41 Bruins games, 41 Celtics games. I mean, we've been there over 30 years. I mean, obviously we haven't worked every single one of them, but, concerts.
early on we averaged 10 to 12 contests a year. Now it's about 50 or 60 different events.
Yeah,
We had
wow.
bean pots, Disney on Ice back in the day.
High school hockey.
High school basketball, like it
Yep.
was.
I mean,
That's wild.
what was it, last September that we had 15 shows in 1 month?
15?
15 concerts in 1 month.
And you got comedy shows there
Yeah,
now.
now
and
we
you
got
comedy
you know,
shows, yeah.
obviously, you've had Dennis
seen you on the
Leary's
stage
comics
yet.
from home. Yeah, I haven't got that call yet. and,
You'll
I'm
sell at the
not-
Garden. Yeah.
You know, I will sell at the Garden one day, but I have
Public
not
garden?
done.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's a garden.
I just said garden. It might be, you know, my cousin's lettuce garden in the backyard. But yeah, no, I mean, there's been all kinds of things there. And what's cool is, like, every time there's something on TV, I'm like, hey, there's my buddies. Like, it's just funny that you guys are always with whoever is the most important person.
I've had a few people tell me that. Remember the old Scarface game?
Yeah.
Every time he said,
Yeah, yeah,
"You drank,"
yeah. Every time they see you guys, they
yeah,
drink.
they drank.
That's a good game.
That, you get hammered.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of friends now that are alcoholics.
Well, I was one of those friends 20 years ago, but not so much now. So who was, and I know, you know, it's a security thing, and we're not going to jeopardize anyone's privacy, but who was the coolest superstar you've ever hung out with? That, like, you didn't expect them to be, you know, like down to earth, or, you know, because let's face it, some of these
Everybody
superstars
has a
and
bad
stuff,
day.
You know, they some of them are not that cool to, you know.
It's a great question, Mark, because you talk to so many people and they always say, you know, if you could meet your one famous person, would you want to do it? And a lot of people are like, I don't, because my fear is the pedestal I have them on, when I actually meet them, it's not going to be what I
Right.
think it's going to
Yeah.
be. So I'm like, I would just want to leave it. I want to leave it there, and I don't really want to meet them because I don't want it to come crumbling down.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we're all hockey guys here, and I mean, hockey players are just salt of the earth. They really are.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to know so many players throughout the years, even guys that are now retired. That 2011 team, you know, to this day, we're still really good friends with most of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, exchange texts on the holidays and birthdays, and
Yep.
they're in town. Like the Bruins just celebrated their 100th anniversary, and that team came back as a group, and it was just so fun to kind of hang out and get to see them and catch up with them. And, you know, but there's a lot of performers, and we don't have as much interactions with performers and stuff, just the way it's set up. You know, we're front of house, they have their own back of house, but there's certain shows that we get an opportunity to be back there. And really, for the most part, for me, a funny story, we were, where our office was, we were out back one night, and it was a Garth Brooks show, and I was just kind of standing outside the office, a couple of people, and they were chit-chatting, and they're like, what do you think he's going to open with? And I said, oh, he's going to open Man Against the Machine. They're like, he's never going to open with that. Why would you ever pick that song of all the great Garth Brooks songs? And again, the way I was standing, I didn't realize there was something behind me. He's like, oh, no, that guy's 100% right. It's Man Against the Machine. And I turned around, it was Garth Brooks.
No
No
way.
kidding.
That's awesome.
He's like, Garth Brooks. I'm like, I know who you are. I'm Jim McCorkle.
He introduced himself like you wouldn't know.
Right.
Wow, that's really cool. We had now the 2011 team. They played the Warrior for Life Fund, the
Yes.
Navy SEALs. I was fortunate enough to referee, be one of the referees for that game. I got shot.
You
by
got
a Navy
injured.
SEAL.
Charity hurts.
I got shot by a Navy SEAL and lived to tell about it. But that was really cool because we had Andrew Ferentz came on to the podcast. We had Andrew Alberts, which was kind of funny. He was with Vancouver at the time,
Right, yep.
but he played with them. We had Johnny Boychuk.
Seidenberg.
We had Dennis Seidenberg, and then later on we had Kevin Miller, and so that was really cool. Those guys are just like you said. They're just, I mean, you have to really try to find a hockey player that's an asshole. I think you can honestly say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out there.
I can think of a couple.
No. We talked about one on the way up. That may or may not be a referee right now in the NHL. Now, referees, you obviously have interaction with referees, and of course, our favorite is Chris Rooney. our boy Chris Rooney.
Stanley Cup Finals again.
Stanley Cup Finals again. Thank God he didn't lose his eye.
Yeah, that was-
with that injury. We went over that.
Yep.
But you've obviously get to know them too.
Yeah, I would say one of my favorites, linesman Brian
yeah.
Murphy.
Brian Murphy, yeah.
Great guy.
Yes.
Kevin Collins too.
Kevin Collins is great.
Yep.
New England guys,
New England guys.
right?
Right?
Of
New England
course.
hockey guys. They're hockey
Yeah.
guys.
Like
In
Murph grew up in Dover, I think Dover, New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
And
And Kevin's in Springfield.
yeah, he's running
that way.
Brian's running Hockey East right now,
Yes,
and I
yes.
worked for him for a couple of years, and now I work alongside him in my role with Atlantic Hockey, and he's been nothing but phenomenal to deal with. Yeah, Murph's the best.
We were at his induction in the USA Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he gave the best speech.
Yeah, I told him
he was fantastic.
Yeah, he told me just to reach out. I think he's back from Florida now, but he wants to come on too. So
Yeah, we'll have him on for sure.
And the NBA refs, great guys. We get a little more time with them because we do, we walk them on and off the court, so there's a little more interaction with them. And, again, a lot of them are just, guys like to, have a little fun, tell a few, dirty jokes. And,
Yeah.
Tony Brothers, great guy. Great guy, gets a bad rap in Boston. Everyone wants to kill
Yeah.
Tony, but Tony's a great guy.
Right.
It's a tough. You guys both did it. It's a tough job. I mean,
You're never
and now
liked
with all
by
this
everyone.
instant replay and everything else, it's
Oh,
not even
yeah.
fair now to you guys.
like it's funny like you mentioned the relationships you have with like all the referees. Like I'm thinking back of all the security guards or all the people that attended my rooms when I was coming up, and like you grow relationships with these guys, right? You talk
100%.
golf, like because not a lot of the times you're pulling in and you're the only one there for 15 minutes, and it's just you and them. And you have a coffee with them, and hey, how's the family? How's this? And then, you're not back there for 3 months, but you go, oh, all right, hey, how's it going? And then you just, you pick right up where you left off, right? And it is pretty cool meeting people across the whole country like that.
And then obviously on the NHL side too, the other one is Wes.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Outstanding.
Wes is just awesome.
we said Rooney and West should do every game in the final.
Just for the record, I nailed 4 for 4 all referees, by the way. I called all 4
Geno
referees.
did.
And Johnny A. Bear I lived with in Reading, Pennsylvania. So like I came up through the ranks with him. Francis Sharon, my first year in the East Coast League, it was his first year in the Coast League. He got hired by the NHL after that season. We both worked the finals that year, and me and Johnny worked the year after. And then Johnny got hired by the National Hockey League, and here I am on a podcast. Those guys are working the Stanley Cup Finals, so that's where my career went. But no,
Great.
Honestly, congratulations to those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, well deserved. Wesley and Chris, like, awesome. Like, that is friggin' awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, so Luke Galvin, who former guest on the show, another referee friend of mine, coach of ours.
Yep.
Coach, I coach with him. We have a text thread, so we each picked what we thought were the 4 referees and 4 linesmen that were going to make the Stanley Cup final, and
Yep.
Geno went 4 for 4.
One linesman, Nor.
Yeah, you got 1 out of 4 for
yeah.
linesmen. I went 0 for 4 on linesmen, and I had 2 refs. I had all Irish refs. That's why I lost, because you knew French refs.
I went with my buddies. Matty
what it was.
McPherson. I live with Matty
Playing
and
in
Johnny.
Canada, you got to have a couple.
Oh,
Reading,
well,
yeah.
I know how that works.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
but
Yeah, that was a fun little exercise. But yeah, it is fun meeting and having those relationships with you guys.
I had a guy in Richmond, Virginia, at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
He would stand right next to the door that we went out, and every time, fist pump, he'd always have a chat. And the worst time was the time I ran out on the ice with my skate guard still on, and absolutely ate shit in front of, I don't know, there was probably 10,000 people there, and they went ape shit because I was not liked in Richmond. And I thought he was going to absolutely like split his gut laughing. He was rolling on the floor. He's like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And it was funny. He's an Afro-American guy, and he loved hockey and loved the refs because we just, he was the guy.
Right.
And he pissed his pants laughing. He's like, I've never seen anything like that. And I went sprawling. But you're right. There's those relationships that you don't think of,
Right.
right? I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool. And it's funny when, I don't care if it's players or refs, I'd say 90% of our conversations have nothing to do with the games.
Right.
It's
Yeah, you're
life,
right.
it's
Yeah,
family,
exactly.
it's golf, it's,
No. And another thing for you youngsters out there or anybody else traveling in this profession in any realm, right? Get to know these type of guys because one, they probably know law enforcement, so if you get in trouble, they can get you out of the jam,
I
right?
don't know what you're talking about.
They probably know all the
solid
best.
advice.
They probably know all the best bars to go to.
Lock.
Yeah.
You got the Celtic kid saying this, by the way.
You know, all the best bars to go to, where to stay away from, who to go see, tell them what name to drop, what restaurant to go to, all of that. Like, that's what, I'm sure you guys hook plenty of guys up with that kind of stuff.
Mark, I thought this was Chirping Zebras. Now it's Geno's life story. Like, what are we doing here?
He's setting you guys up to make a phone call. You know.
I'm just relating.
On the ride home, we're going to get pulled over. I'm going to be on the phone with you. Yeah, remember when Geno was talking about...
Plenty of stadies, yeah.
But it's true.
It is.
It's
It's
true.
100% true.
But that's life, right?
Yes.
I have a couple of nieces that just graduated from college, and congratulations to them and everything. But it's not what you learn in the books. It's the network you build.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Life is all about relationships.
Relationships and
100%.
networks.
Yeah.
That's what gets you through. And, if you build those strong enough relationships, you were traveling, doing stuff, we were all doing stuff. We connect and it's rolling right back into what it was.
Right.
Right? That's
Right.
a true network. That's a true relationship.
Yep.
And again, hockey guys, we're all hockey guys here. Hockey guys seem to get that and it just comes natural to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you see other walks of life and my other profession, I worked at the Trust Custody Bank and now I work for a university. You don't see that as much sometimes, or you see it being forced.
Right.
It just doesn't roll as easy as it does for me, hockey players. So
Yeah. No, and we should give a shout out to your daughter who's here watching
Yes.
live in studio,
Yes.
Averill. who
Just graduated Colgate University.
Colgate. You got the Colgate shirt on.
Yeah.
And she was a goalie for Colgate.
She was a
so-
goalie for 4 years.
better than her father.
Awesome. Following in your footsteps.
Finished her career with a perfect save percentage,
Love it.
1,000.
Love it.
Graduated with a 4.06. Thank God she got her smarts from me.
4.06? I thought you could only get a 4. How do you get a 4.06?
You get extra credits for those AP courses and stuff. Don't you get extra half a point?
I don't
or
know.
something?
I thought 4
I never
was
took
the
them.
best.
Well, see,
I got a 4. I got it all 4 years together.
yeah. You got to add yours to get the 4. Yeah. So she's nothing like you.
No, she is not.
She's
no.
good at net and she's smart. That's fantastic.
No, she was.
She doesn't want a ref. I tried that.
You did try. No, but she was recognized. They made the Frozen Four 2 years ago, and she won the Elite 90
wow.
for
Awesome.
the participant in the women's Final Four with the highest GPA. Participating in there.
for
so,
you.
That's so cool.
yeah, she had a tremendous career, and now it's time for her to take care of her old man.
Right on.
Yeah. Good luck. Because my kids don't take care of me. So that's all right. And of course, Geno's a goalie dad.
Yes,
So-
goalie dad. Yep. My
You
daughter's
guys-
9. She's second year, U10. So that is a lot of fun. She made the junior Bruins team. We're going to, the national selector. They travel everywhere. At least tournament she gets sucked into. So we're going to Utah in July. So can't wait for that. So.
So look, as a goalie dad, Geno, let me
Yes.
ask you: do you stand with the rest of the families, or do you go stand down in the corner?
Oh,
by yourself?
as a dad, no matter what, I think I would be standing by myself because of the referee aspect of it too. But
Yeah.
I do like standing alone because I don't like hearing the hens. I can't deal with it.
We call them Canadian geese. Just because they all wear the coat.
Yes.
That's a me thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Geno coaches.
Yeah, I help out. Yeah.
And I keep saying he's.
When do you find time to do this?
Yeah, right. Exactly. At 7 o'clock on a Tuesday.
That's when we're taping this. I have a bet that he's going to get tossed by a ref.
And I
one of
almost
these
did
times.
this. It was the final, and these. Well, like I look at it too, right? Like 2 19-year-old kids out there, they don't know any better, right? They're only going with what they know. And we didn't get one power play that whole time. And there was like 3 or 4 easy ones, layups, right? I'm like, dude, what are you? I'm like, my arm's up, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I was like, I wasn't. I was kind of a dick, but like he comes up to me and he's like, yeah, he was looking right at it, right? I got the videos, right? So like he's staring right at the thing, and I'm like, dude, I go, how'd you not call that? And he's like, well, I saw like the side of my car in my eye. I go, well, what the hell are you doing? I go, you missed the hook over there. You're out here like this, like floating around. And I go, this is the final. I go, wake the fuck up. And I'm like, will ya? And I'm glad it was me on the bench, right? Not another coach, because like that was it. Like I said my piece. There was like another trip. The kid's like shaking his head out. I'm like, how do you shake your head at that? You just started giving me an explanation. I just go, it's a trip. And you try to talk to me again. I go, trip. I go, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, it's a trip.
It's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So you guys used to make fun of me when I was on the bench.
But I didn't kick the door down and inhale the thing.
That.
Like
I just never did that.
I just vocalized what I saw from my angle, and that was it. And I left it on. I didn't yell. I didn't scream.
You didn't go full angry Geno.
No, I didn't.
You go full
water
angry
balls,
Geno.
Sticks in the ice, pucks in the ice.
Yeah.
They're going to escort you out of there. That's what's going to happen. They're going to show up and go, you're going to have to come with us.
Yes. Security.
Full angry Geno. I want to see that. I want to be reffing that game.
Yeah, you might. You might see me. No, I'm not going to do that. I won't let it get to that point. But I mean, that was the most heated I've been, and like, bothered you because like 3 days later I was still pissed about it.
That's shocking.
Let it go.
I can't let
You
things
still
go.
mad about something?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Call him a surprise.
You shitting me? No, that's.
Speaking of escorting people out, like, have you guys had was there any like big things, like big escalations or anything crazy that you guys had to escort somebody out of the building for?
No, just your typical, people overindulging and
Drunk idiots.
Yeah, just drunk idiots you
drunk
mostly
idiots.
deal with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of scraps there?
No.
I was going to say.
Not like the old. When I started in the old building, there were a lot more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Most guys from Southie.
most guys from Celtics or Charlestown.
Typical.
Well, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Charlestown.
this
now-
one's all
now it's-
sneaking in. And,
Right now,
Yeah,
it's
they're the ones without the tickets.
it's very it's very corporate, as we know.
Yeah, yeah, it's
everything
much
in
different.
life, right? It's corporate.
Yep.
It's the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And I will say you get a lot of afternoon games on the weekends for the Bruins, so that helps the crowd.
Right.
There's a lot of
Families,
kids
yeah.
and everything else.
Right.
But yeah, nothing really. Just it's more of the overindulging.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the new.
You go to any, go down to Faneuil Hall any night, you see the same thing.
Yeah. Well, no. It's,
Fenway, Foxborough, MGM,
Yeah.
MGM, the concert venue. They were all like that.
Yeah. Well, alcohol is probably the root of most of those
Oh, absolutely,
situations.
yeah.
And I was going to say, with the new garden, kids like Geno can't sneak in the back
No, they
door.
cannot.
At the old garden, you used to go in and out like you worked there.
I may or may not have carried a dirty pack in the back door of the garden at one point out of my car and zinged it in there because we ran out of beer after the Hockey East final. Like Grav's like, hey, we're out of beer. I go, I got 15 left in my bag. I can only fit 15 in. I run downstairs. The kid working security held the door for me. Really?
You want that name?
No.
This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Statute of limitations has passed us.
Well, when Grav tells you to do something, you must know Grav.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When Grav says do something, you do it.
Yeah.
Right? One of our only guest to date. And he was on, episode 4?
Yeah.
I think.
I still think it's one of the best episodes.
He brought, as he put it, an Italian poo-poo platter. He had Zambuca, wine, some hard cheese that he told me had put hair on my chest, some meat.
There was some
What do
meat
you
I
have?
chewed on half the episode.
Gabagol,
Gabagol. It was-
some big hunk of meat. He had cannolis. He brought a whole spread.
Yeah.
Only guest.
Yeah.
Only guest ever to bring a spread. Your dad was the only guest to wear a tie.
Yes,
So
that's fact.
early on,
Those are facts.
he was the best dressed. It was a clip on, but the best dressed guest ever. And Grav brought the food.
Wow,
So
that's funny.
you brought some bling
Look
here
at
on the
that.
table. You brought some championship rings.
Yes.
Can we get a zoom?
or hold them up or something. These so it's the Celtics and Bruins ring. So what? So obviously the Bruins are from 2011 because they didn't give those out back in 1972. And the Celtics, what year is
Last
that
year.
one? Oh, last year.
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Last year's.
Oh,
So
very cool.
Yeah, being there a long time, it was very cool, very appreciative, unexpected, completely unexpected. A lot of guys on our staff deserving of it, but just very appreciative. It was a nice gesture.
Yeah, that's
It's a keepsake. And as I said to my lovely wife, now I have two. I have 2 children. They each get one.
Perfect.
There you go.
There you go.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Right? I love it. I don't know. Can
If
we
they win
get
another championship, I call dibs on the third.
Can we get a close up on these, Mike? Can we? Our producer Mike, can we get a close up on one of these, or like zoom in, or hold them up, or do something cool? I don't know. I mean, look at those bad boys. That is some serious sparkle. That's more impressive than a Canadian goose coat.
How
Just
much
as
flack am I going to
expensive.
get for calling them hens? I know my aunts don't like it.
And we are woke,
Yeah.
as we've been
I
told.
got to remember I'm on a podcast. I
socials.
hope my mouth.
Don't worry about it. You're making plenty of money here. Don't worry about it.
This is a paid appearance?
Not for
Not
you.
yet.
Mine is.
Not for anyone. Actually.
I'm waiting for when they tell us what we've won.
Well, you got the quarter zip on, and I gave you a hat.
Call Dougie Smith. He'll have it.
Dougie Smith was the best. He's like, so is there like an appearance fee? I'm just asking. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a quarter zip and a hat. Shut the fuck up. And then he beat the shit out of me. But we love Dougie. He's the best. That's really cool. Now, you obviously were you at any of the games where they clinched? I mean, I know the Bruins won in Vancouver.
In Vancouver.
So,
In 2008 and this past Celtics, we were there for both of them.
cool.
And unfortunately, Golden State the year before that.
Right.
Was it the year before that or 2 years before? But we were there when Golden State won it.
Yep.
And
2013 when the Blackhawks won
when
it.
the Blackhawks won it.
2019 when the Blues won it.
When the Blues
That's-
won it.
that was the game your mom
actually,
walked
we've
out.
seen a lot.
No, the 13 was the one my mother walked out of the rink when they won. I'm like, how are you not going to watch the Stanley Cup get raised? She goes, I'm not watching that fucking thing get raised. I'm not watching some other team raise the cup. Out she went.
I actually saw Edmonton win it in the old building.
Oh yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was at that game with my
Very-
father. Actually, I
that
was
was
there with my mother.
86,
Yeah.
right?
It was very
86?
cool. Again, like being a local kid growing
Nice.
up, being a hockey guy, even the Celtics, just feeling the electricity in that building, like especially when they won it, was you just can't even compare it.
Yeah.
And then seeing the parade, Bruins parade, being there for that, crazy.
Were you guys on a float?
We walked.
We walked it.
Okay.
We walked it.
You were security.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Did you walk next to the duck boats?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
So,
My brother
cool.
was on Marshan's
Yeah.
boat, as I've said before.
Very cool experience.
oh, yeah.
So we've gotten to do a lot of cool things. Got to meet a lot of cool people. It's funny you asked about athletes and things. I'll tell you, 2 of the coolest people we've probably met there. For me, Fist Bump Kid,
Oh yeah.
great story,
Yep.
and Sam Burns.
Okay.
Sam had progeria, but just zest of life.
Yeah.
What an inspiration, and always had a smile on his face. And it was always great to see Sam
Yeah.
around the arena.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, fist pump.
Liam,
Liam Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
who just graduated from high school the other day.
yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Congrats.
Algonquin, I believe it was. Algonquin High School.
Wow.
So yeah, it's cool. And again, it's funny, we've been there so long. You meet some of these people as children and watch them grow up and watch them become young adults and be so successful. And we actually were talking about this a little bit the other day. We were kind of laughing that, we both worked there when Ray was playing.
Yep.
So we were there when all of Ray's kids were born. We were there when one of Ray's kids came back and played for the Bruins.
Yeah.
The same thing. I mean, we all grew up with Teddy
Right.
Donato.
Right.
And then obviously Teddy's son Ryan came back and played for the Bruins. And
Yep.
you've been around a long time.
I still say Teddy wasn't the best guy from Denham. I think one of the 3 of us were.
I thought you were going to go with Matt Frawley. That kid could
My
play
line
hockey.
mate. He could play.
That kid could play hockey. He
He
ended
could
up
play
going to
hockey.
Nobles. So, yeah, he was, yeah. I thought you were going to go with him. And of course, Teddy says he's from Reedville.
Hyde Park.
Hyde Park, but we all know the truth. But I'll bring that up later because I want to reminisce a little bit about high school. There was so many of us that went to Xaverian, and then there was a few guys like Chris Barron went to CM, and then the kids we played with growing up went to Dedham High. And I always
Danny
say,
Cruz went to CM.
yeah, that's
Danny
right.
Cruz went to CM.
Yep.
We grew up with it.
I always say if we all went to Dedham High,
We would
we would have won 4 years in a row.
We would have
Absolutely.
dominated.
We would have dominated the states 4 years in a row because we had the A and B teams because we used to have them back then. We didn't have these bullshit club, all this
Names
bullshit
that
stuff.
mean the same.
Right.
Where you have to pay $3,500 to get your ass
Right.
kicked every night.
We had A and B, but the A and B we used to always play each other
Right.
because it was basically two A teams, and because back then you didn't have two A teams, you had an A and a B, and I always say if we went, I mean, think of
Yeah.
the kids that did not go there. Right?
Undoubtedly,
I mean,
because
it
we
was just
played
amazing.
together as a team,
Yeah,
basically from the time we were 8 or 9 till we went to high school. So
Right.
think about that. It would have been 10 years consistently we were playing together.
yeah. I mean, it would have been top to bottom, 4 lines, 8D. We would have had too many goalies. I
Kings
mean,
of the Bay State League.
we dominated. We would have dominated that.
These guys used to rule in Pee Wees.
We did. Reminiscing. Give us something. will you?
GBHL, yes.
We're old.
Greater Boston Hockey League. We used to be
Playing,
awesome.
we used to play at the Northeastern.
Northeastern.
We used to play
BU,
over there.
Skating Club of Boston.
Skating, with no glass.
No glass.
The no glass. You'd get hit and you'd go
Oh,
right
it's
over the
the worst.
fucking boards on
Yeah.
the concrete. You'd
Nobles,
land on the
Nobles,
concrete.
Nobles had the chain link fence back then.
Oh, that was
Outdoors,
awesome.
it was
Freezing.
as cold as
Yeah.
cold could be.
You'd get hit and your shirt would get caught or your shoulder pad and forget it. You were
Okay.
like,
Oh,
it was
that's so bad.
unbelievable.
What about Dexter?
Oh,
Our high
Dexter.
school, our high school rink, Dexter.
Yeah.
Before they built this.
This
I don't know
nice,
if you've
yeah.
seen the new one.
Oh, the new
I
one's
saw
amazing.
pictures and videos. Yeah, it's really nice. Huh?
Dexter. Yeah, one of the coldest places on earth.
Yep.
Another
Back
chain
in the
link
day.
fence place.
Another chain link fence place.
I broke my thumb, got my thumb caught in the fence. I got hit,
That-
snapped my
yeah.
thumb. I was like, what?
That's how you got hurt back then, with chain link fences. And your dad probably told you some stories, and you're probably like, that's bullshit. It's true. It's true. Milton Academy had 3 walls. It used to rain on the fucking bench. It was.
Town
There was
still has a
walls.
wall.
Yeah,
Right, yes. And
You
it was-
just stand
the
on
wind would be
bench and the
blowing, you're
fucking rain would be
freezing.
hitting you in
Oh,
the
it's
back of the
brutal.
head. And you're going, why don't they have 3 walls? Why do they only have
And
3
no-
Put a top up.
Nobles, you'd come off the ice, you'd run to the locker room to try to warm up before your next shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. Absolutely awful.
I experienced that. Yeah, I experienced the outdoor Nobles rink. Yeah.
It's amazing we got to where we are in life, putting up with all that stuff as
Well,
kids.
that's why Gen X were the best generation. Let's face it, because we put up with stuff that no one would be able to put up with. Yeah, you telling me these kids could play with chain link fence?
I would love to see old
Right?
videos and pictures of those. Like, you guys got to have them.
Oh, there's somewhere. I'm sure we got the reels, the
Yeah.
8mm reels that we can put on. We got to get someone to digitize this shit.
They're in those little
Right?
circle things. You put them in and you just click to the next one and click to the
Oh,
next
remember
one.
those?
The viewfinders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or you had the slides and the big round thing, and
You could put it on the wall.
and it'd be and the whole thing would go, and then it would project on the screen. Oh yeah, and they were all little slides.
Who needs fuck PowerPoint? Who needs
No.
PowerPoint? We'll just
Now
put them
you
in
have
that.
these things. Are you shitting me? We had to do all kinds of tough stuff. We had to find our porn in the woods. Sorry. But that's the way it was.
The Dewey Decimal
Right?
System when we had to look up
You had to
something.
go, yeah, you couldn't Google. You had to drive your bike to the library and pray to God the lady wasn't pissed off and would help you find the book you needed.
You haven't returned a book in 6
Yeah.
months.
And you'd have to bring a fucking bag of dimes
Just, yeah,
to
right.
make copies on the
Yes.
copy machine.
Yeah.
Because you could, if you wanted to, copy the shit, you had to copy it first.
Or you'd be like, rip the page out of the book and then take it home with
But
you.
yeah, that only you get caught once though, and you get banned. That was not.
Oh, yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
library. Your face is up on the wall.
Yep, and then you had to wear a hat and glasses. And,
Fake mustache.
Yeah, you had to walk in. You always got caught. But that was back then. It was crazy.
Yep.
Those rinks were nuts. But that's what we grew up
Now they're
with.
palaces.
Now they're
Now these
just-
kids are spoiled.
Oh, it's
Trumpet is there as you
ridiculous.
show up at the front door.
It's nuts now. I mean, it's insane. I mean, you showed the picture. We'll put it up. The picture of you as a goalie. The pads you're wearing, I mean, you wouldn't wear them playing soccer these days. Like, that's how bad. Those are ridiculous. That's what you wore.
And if they got wet, they weighed about 400
Oh,
pounds.
yeah. You were
that's-
lucky you were a big kid because you wouldn't have been able to get up.
And that's one thing, and as a goalie dad, you'll appreciate this, and I say to my daughter, too, I'm like, I see her equipment, and her pads don't weigh 2 ounces.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're gigantic.
And I'm like, you have
Yeah,
no
really.
idea. Like,
Yeah.
her goalie skates are, like, aerodynamic and weigh an ounce and this, that. And I'm like, I had these, and I still to this day, I have my goalie skates that I wore back in high school.
Holy
with the
shit.
big white covers around
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you'd have the big leather pads, and like Jackie said, they'd get wet, and you're like, holy shit, I got to get up.
Right?
Oh, yeah. They're nuts. You and John Carreri.
Yep.
John was another goalie.
Yep.
Shout out to him. He always chirps me on the socials.
Yep.
And he is a funny kid. We used to call him Meatball. That was his nickname because he was a little round and Italian. And then the kid ends up.
sense.
He does fucking triathlons and
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
Like he did a couple of
Iron
Ironmans.
Man, yeah.
Like,
Well, you
what's
guys
So-
did him a favor calling him a meatball.
That's right. We
Like,
encouraged
seriously, what
him.
the fuck's wrong with him? What are you,
You
doing?
know?
You're making us all look bad.
Well, I was like, come on, dude. Like, you weren't in shape. All right? You were never in shape, and now you're in shape.
And then Riley took his shirt off.
You know? Well, that was back when I was in college. And may or may not have been, eating more than chicken and rice. Hey, it was $1.35, all right? I remember a practice. This talk about burned in your memory. I remember practice. We did this drill. I think it was the freshman team at Zavarian. And we took the puck around the net, and the forechecker would go in and hit. Mm-hmm. And I had to go against you. And you were about the size you are now, and I was $1.30. And I went around the net, and stupidly I thought, I'll just duck. And I fucking took your shin pad in the ear. And my head rang for like a fucking week. And that was you. That was one of the vivid memories I have from playing back then was you smoking me into the boards.
I only have one question. Did you ever do it again?
No. And I watch and I go, all right, where is, okay, fuck that. And I'd let someone cut me. I wasn't getting hit again. I wasn't fucking stupid. You get rung like that once and then you
Now
figure it out.
you'd have been out for 2 months.
They would have put me on the chart. You go green, red, blue.
And I don't want to
something.
make fun of that. I think they should. We probably shouldn't have done it as much.
Oh, well, but I still, all right, so I'll throw something out. You want a hot take? I think the food additives are causing the concussions to not only be more often, but more severe these days. Because we had, I bet I had at least 15. I mean, and maybe one diagnosed, and that was when I was an adult. And what did we do? You got woken up every hour on the hour, right? Which is found out the worst thing you can do for a head injury. My father would be like, "You awake? I am now. Good. Go back to sleep."
We got to go back to bed.
What are we doing? It's like being in a hospital.
Seriously, that's what we did.
We need you to get rest.
Right?
I need to take your vitals. Seriously, we just did this.
There was a friggin' game at BU. I got hit in the first period. I don't remember anything till the car ride home, and I scored 2 goals. My father was like, "You had a good game." I was like, "I did." I got hit from behind in the first peried. We didn't
Nope.
right.
You just
Now,
went right back out there.
I'm not downplaying concussions or the seriousness of them, and they cause serious problems and stuff. But back in the day, it was we had concussions, but it wasn't like it is now.
There was no information.
Like we went to school the next day, we did our homework. We didn't sit there in the lights. We were groggy maybe, right, and maybe had a headache for a week. But now it seems like the kids who get concussions are really like messed up from
Yes,
it.
yeah.
And they seem to happen more often. And I think it's the food.
It's got to be something because the equipment's better than it was when we played.
Right.
Kids are in better shape. They're more agile, like to move away from things and take hits differently and things like that. But yeah, it's
and this is based on zero scientific research. This is just my opinion, but I think that there's something to that because why were we okay? Some might argue that now, but now it's way more serious, and what else? I don't know what else it could be. I mean, we didn't evolve in a way that made our heads softer or our brain, like, you know what I mean? It
Well, I
all
think-
still works the same.
I think now too. I think part of it is just everything is so they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. I mean, I think of my daughter and her friends, and they're in the gym, at 5:30 in the morning for 2.5 hours, going hard.
Yep.
We walk by the gym on the way to the library. But I mean, we worked out a little bit, but not like these kids are today.
Oh, no.
I mean,
No.
they have personal trainers and again, and I'm not, that's great. And if you can do it, more power to you. But I think they're just these kids are so much bigger, stronger, and faster that, you go back and I laugh, you go back and watch the old Bruins highlights on TV 38 with Fred and John.
Love it.
And it looks like they're moving in molasses.
Yes.
And then you go down to ice level at the Garden. I mean, the tournament they just had here in February with,
the
Sweden.
world thing, yeah.
The world.
Oh, the world.
Yep.
What was it? The
Four
world?
Nations.
Four
Four
Nations.
Nations.
There you go.
Four
And you go
Nations.
stand down there at ice level and you watch guys like McDavid and just how fast they are.
Yeah.
And it's just like, stop and go. And it's, I mean, you get hit by something that fast, and you're not, especially when you're not expecting
Physics.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
I mean, they always say if you want to really catch an NHL game, watch it at ice level because that's the best way to watch it because it's so friggin' fast. Like I remember, I ended up getting hurt in an American League game, and I had walked out in the tunnel and just watched the rest of it, and how fast that was. I was and the linesmen are jumping all over the friggin' place. I'm like, whoa, 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 right? And I'm just sitting there. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was just out there. It's like, well, now I'm hurt, but
right. But I think when you're in it, you don't realize how fast it is.
no, you don't.
Until you're, like you said, and I've always said that, there are certain guys, and I just mentioned one, McDavid, when he's in the building, I want to stand at ice level and watch him because
Yeah.
I don't think you can really get an appreciation for how fast that guy is until you see him at ice level. He's a stride and a half, and he's going 100 miles an hour.
With or
Eichel's
without the
same
puck.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing, with or without the puck. And you look back, Orr was like that, right? He skated. Imagine if Orr had the technology that they have now. Like the stick alone, right? Think of the stick. That didn't even have a curve.
No.
There was no flex. There was no it was a piece of wood. Imagine
weighed-
if
that
he
weighed
had
about
one of these
20
twigs.
pounds.
Yeah. Imagine if he had one of these sticks that, had the flex they have. I mean, it's a fascinating thing.
He'd look like McDavid.
He would.
Yeah, he would.
He would. Now, interesting about McDavid, and I don't know, a buddy of mine pointed this out. So in '83, Gretzky lost to the Islanders, came back and beat them in '84 to win the Cup. Sidney Crosby in 2008 lost to Detroit and came back in 2009, beat them to win the Cup. Now McDavid, is it his turn? Lost to Florida last year. And of course, when this drops next week, they'll already been
Oilers will
halfway
already
through
be
this.
hoisting the
Hopefully.
cup because F Florida.
But
I didn't swear.
Gee, I wonder what Geno's thinking for
that was
this.
amazing. But they lost.
Talk
He
out
lost to
loud.
Florida. Now he's back this year. Could history repeat itself for an NHL superstar? And I
I'm rooting
hope
for
it does.
I'm rooting for it.
It'd be great to see Marchand win another cup. Obviously, right? I mean, we all love him. But I think McJesus should be on the cup. Right?
Yes, I'm rooting Oilers.
No question. Now, how about Corey Perry? Now, here's a guy. He's gone. I call him the Susan Lucci of the NHL. Now, you might not get that reference. I know you two do. All right?
I do not.
She played Erica Kane in All My Children.
Okay, I didn't know what she
soap opera.
played, but I know who she is.
Well, and that was my mother's soap opera choice. So when you stayed home sick from school back in our day, there was no freaking YouTube or
Or
Netflix
Xbox
or
or-
Xbox.
Or
You
The
had to
View
watch
or
what
any of that.
You watch what your mother watched, which was soap operas.
Price is Right, the
Price
news.
is Right, the
Yep.
news, and
Soap
soap
operas.
operas. Right? Everyone's in all the cool kids were in the General Hospital. But my mother didn't like that show. I was an all.
Oh,
My
I was
Children.
a big Luke and Laura fan.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, and I used to get beat up because I wasn't. And
Oh, you were smaller.
well, there was other reasons, but not in college. No, but that's she got nominated. This girl got nominated for the best lead actress of a daytime drama, daytime Emmy award. 21 times. She won once. It took her 19 times to win a daytime Emmy. Corey Perry, he's been to the Cup how many times, and he's only won one. And this will be the 5th one in a row.
In a row, yeah.
That he could lose. He's lost 4 in a row. He's been on the team that lost in the Cup.
I got a hunch he's due.
You think?
Yeah, let's
right?
go.
Of course, Susan Lucci said that 18 years in a row. But that's
Next year's my year.
That's my Gen X comparison. Corey Perry, Susan Lucci.
Right.
So if younger people won't know what the hell I'm talking about,
Well, they do
older
now.
people will be like, holy shit, I remember that. And
I got to
that's
admit, I did not have that on my bingo card.
I didn't either.
Corey Perry and Susan Lucci.
You know what? You never know what you're going to hear on the Zebras. I am a wealth of useless shit.
What do you
all
guys
right?
have in your bingo?
I'd like to know. I'd like to know the answer to that question.
It's the gum.
It's the gum. He's got the smart gum. He's chewing the smart gum. Well, they don't sponsor us, so I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah, smart gum.
But it's that
Just
gum
buy it.
that makes you smarter.
Smarter. Wicked smart.
It's on the
Wicked smart.
corner and salty, yeah.
Wicked
26.
smart. No, but that's my Gen X comparison right there.
Well
in
done.
the NHL. Not bad, right?
Yeah. Pretty good.
I mean, you know.
It only took 66 episodes to work in Susan Lucci.
Oh, I was getting her in. And she's 78 years old? I'd still bang her. I probably shouldn't
Something else they did not have my bingo card.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. I blame the gum.
He's only human.
I blame the gum.
See, back in high school, Riles was always that guy. You know, you'd get it to the line, and the Riles would go way over the line.
Oh, yeah. That's how our
Hasn't
show
changed.
goes. Yeah, this
Hasn't changed
yeah.
at all. He was always that guy. Even growing up in, elementary school. You went to,
I went
he
to
was one of
Riverdale.
those thugs over in Riverdale, and we were in, the posh Oakdale section.
Yeah.
But he did. It wasn't like a little over. He just ran past the line.
There's never been a line for me. But back in the day, yeah, even in high school, I don't think anyone would have said, oh, yeah, he's going to be a comedian.
No,
No.
Yeah, see?
they still say it today.
Even in college. I set you up for that. It took you way too long to get to that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm always good up for the cheap joke. I'm going to take
His
it.
joke was way better than mine. I was going to say in jail, but
Well, that almost happened too. That's all right. No, even in college, people were like, because I took it over the line, but I always did it kind of in, behind the scenes. That sounds creepy as shit. I didn't mean it like that.
You stole a cow from Canton.
I did steal a cow.
That's not behind the scenes.
No, Vinnie Manning and I, with Rich Dubitsky waiting in the car. You've heard the
I
story.
acquired it, Your Honor.
I
still
acquired the
nothing.
cow from Cumberland Farms, and it had a big ceramic. You know the cows that were at Hilltop.
Hilltop, yep.
It was one of those, and it was on an awning at Cumberland Farms Dairy in Canton. It's now Topgolf. That's what's
Yeah.
there now. It was
Yep.
right at that same spot, and they had this giant cow. And my buddy Vinny and I went and with a crowbar, and he threw me up there. He was a big boy, and I crowbarred it for about 45 minutes. I was up there. People were coming in and out because it was open 24 hours. It was a dairy, so there were people.
It was
going
their
in and
plant,
out.
right? But you could still go get your milk there.
Every time
And
someone
ice
would go
cream.
in,
But if you
I'd
bring a
walk-
ladder someplace, you're important. No one
No,
bothers you.
I didn't have a ladder. I had Vinny threw me up on the roof. He literally fucking threw me. He went to Brown to play football. He was a big boy. Threw me on the roof. And people going in and out. People would drive. He would hide in the bush. I'd behind the cow's ass. And finally, I got the fucking thing. I broke one of the legs trying to get it off. I passed it down, and then we ran it across the parking lot. And Rich Dubitsky said it was the funniest fucking thing he's ever seen. Just a ceramic cow running across the parking lot.
And now the sad part is the police are on the way to Vinny and Rich's house because they never knew this.
To continue the story, we brought it to Canton because I at the time my girlfriend lived in Canton, and
Oh, this was a prom proposal.
well, we didn't have those either. We called and by the 6 girls, she said yes.
I thought you were bringing the cow. for a
Remember
date.
when I won the junior prom thing?
Yes.
And I won the tickets, the tux, the limo with the big fat driver. Remember him?
Yeah.
He drove
Didn't
a
come on
bus.
the date, though.
He drove a bus. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
He drove the limo. And it was like a limo from a funeral home. It wasn't like a nice one. Seriously, it was.
That's where he got his flower, too, that night.
It was actually true. Because the boutonniere was included. So I won this
Oh,
And an urn.
That's
Souvenirs.
true. We had to stop it and bury something. But and Mr. Extra and all you fucking assholes you had a pool going and whether or not I could get a date, whether or not I had to give it to a friend because I couldn't get a date, and I almost didn't, but I did.
But he got the car off the roof.
But I got the cow off the roof. So we brought it to Canton. We took some pictures, and then we buried it in the leaves behind the library, figuring the cops will find it. They always do. We weren't the first ones to do this, right?
In Canton.
Behind the Canton Library,
Behind the Canton Library.
their video cameras don't work.
Well, back then there were no cameras.
Are we really going to talk about cops in Canton right now?
And cameras.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. That's the segue. Karen Reed is innocent. But I tell the story at Curry. I tell the boys, hey, I stole a car. And they're like, is it still there? And I was like, I don't know. And we took a pickup truck, and there it was.
No shit.
So that thing spent 4 months in my dorm room at Curry. We had our own, there was no Greek life there, so we made Gumby Delta Mu. We had the cow with Gumby on it, an inflatable Gumby and a battle axe, and that was Gumby Delta Mu.
Gumby.
That's how, and then we brought it back. We actually brought it back. We found out the state cops were pissed, and the Canton cops were pissed, and everyone was pissed because this cow never came back. Because usually kids would steal it,
And
they'd
bring it
fucking
back.
show up somewhere,
Right.
they'd find it, they'd put it back, it was all good. This thing was gone from June, now it's like December, and it's still gone, and they're pissed. So we decided to bring it back. And remember there was a farm in Canton over near Ponkapog.
Oh, yeah.
And the cows would always get loose. So there was always, cow loose on so-and-so. So he said, fuck it, let's go down that neighborhood. We throw the cow on the side of the road, right?
Everybody go nuts.
and we left the cow there. And I put a note on the cow. And it said, to whom it may concern, please help. I've been cow-napped by Libyan terrorists. Because Libya was our enemy back then. Please return me to the Cumberland Farms roof suite. I am extremely tired. The Libyans milked the shit out of me. Elsie Moo. We gave her a name. And so the cop, and then our buddy left us in the embankment on 128 because we wanted to see this shit show. And my buddy, the other kid with the pickup truck, drove up because we didn't have cell phones. There would have been video of all this. We would have been in jail. And he drove up to 138 to the gas station and called the cops on the payphone. So the cops come down, and they're pissing their pants. And they're mooing over the fucking loudspeaker. No shit. They read the thing, they're pissing. Then they can't get it in the back of the car. This was a fucking giant cow.
I wish you had video of this.
Now, I know the cop knew we were there because we were laughing our balls off when they're reading and mooing. And he had the flashlight. I swear he saw us in the embankment, but just didn't want to do the paperwork. Like 4 college kids, I'm not doing that. Because while they're there, they had to call Cumberland Farms, right? They called Cumberland Farms to bring a truck. Well, while that's happening, our buddy comes back in the pickup truck to pick us up, and the cops are still there. And he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I took a wrong turn. And the Cumberland Farms guy comes in a milk truck. It's out of a movie. He had the suspenders and the fucking overalls. He weighed about 410 if he was an ounce, and he was about 4'3". And he got out and he picked the fucking thing up and threw it in the back of the milk truck and drove away. And we walked back on 128 back to school. We had to walk back to Curry. That's the cow story right there.
Moo.
Cumberland Farms.
Got milk.
That's it. Right there. That was it.
Cumbies.
So, there you go. But we did talk about the Karen Reed trial. We've never talked about it here on
No, we have
Chirping
not.
Zebras. And we'll poll the jury. I say innocent. That's when you fucking guys should say what you think. Did you not catch that?
I did.
You're
I
the
was waiting
jury.
for our
Polling the
guess. I
jury.
wasn't going to be rude. I was waiting for our guess.
I'll say it this way. There's more than enough reasonable doubt that she's innocent. I have no idea what happened.
No one
I've
does.
said this from day one.
Right.
Who knows what happened? But all I want to know is if I'm ever in that kind of trouble, that we prove reasonable doubt that I'm getting off.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Well put.
And there was plenty of reasonable doubt.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah, I mean, again, I agree with that, and I've said myself, nobody really knows what happened, but the simple fact that the timelines keep changing from trial 1 to trial 2, like if that doesn't scream reasonable doubt, I don't know what does.
Yeah. I thought there was 5 things that should have given reasonable doubt back in the first trial, and they all seem to be ignored.
Yeah, I get innocent. Well, reasonable doubt anyway, right? At least, like, I can't put a finger on it that say, hey, yeah, she definitely did this.
And I don't know who did it.
And there hasn't been one
Nope.
No
ounce
one
of
knows who
evidence
did
that
it.
pointed
The
that
only
way.
the only person that knows who did it is the person who did it.
Right.
So we're like, in no way am
Nope.
I accusing anyone or saying anything. I just don't think if she hit him, it didn't kill him. That's all I'm saying. Because there's, like you said, reason. You answered like a politician. I answered like a fucking idiot.
Like a
comedian.
podcast host.
Like
Yeah,
a podcast.
exactly.
Yeah.
You said it.
You
way
went for
better
bait.
than
You
me.
went for bait click. I went for.
No, there's no bait clicks here. Is that a bad thing? Talking about Karen Reed, of course we're going for bait click. No.
We're going viral now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fucked up thing. It really is.
It's crazy.
And only our state could waste this much fucking
That's
money.
the one thing that's
on
bothering
this.
me about it is all the friggin' money they're spending on this.
Crazy.
So I had a buddy of mine who I work with at my other job, and he is like, he doesn't believe she did it. He's passionate that she didn't do it. And he gave a great example to me. He said, you know what this is? This is the East Coast version of OJ. Because the prosecution and the cops are screwing it up and causing reasonable doubt, other than just do your job.
Right.
Just do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Because there's a lot
Investigate
of
it.
shoddy cop work, yeah.
Yeah.
And also within the trial, there was a lot of things that went wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
Good point.
Jackie Childs wasn't involved.
I met Jackie Childs.
You did.
Yes.
Jackie Childs is the best.
So
it's
he-
ludicrous. It's outrageous. It's salacious.
Oh, he was like
Who told you to drink the coffee? I didn't tell you to drink the coffee.
So speaking of security guards, right? So Milwaukee, they play where the basketball team plays. I forget the name of the stadium.
Fiserv Center.
Sure, there you go. All those names change every year, right? It's a different sponsor. So the Milwaukee Bucks play, right? So where we get dressed, where the referees we're in there, right? And security
Locker room?
guard, yeah, the locker room. There you go. So the security guy comes in and goes, "Oh, Jackie Childs is here as a guest appearance." I was like, "You got to get him down here after the game." I go, "I want to meet him." Blah 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 blah. So sure as shit, the security guard brings him down after the game. He couldn't have been nicer. Took pictures with us, and I was like, "This is
that's
awesome!" Like huge fan. Like he couldn't have been. It was awesome that he like decided to come down and talk to us like for a couple of minutes. Like yeah, he was awesome. Dynamite guy.
That might have been the best spoof ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Jackie Childs.
Hysterical.
I mean,
Who
right?
told you to put the bomb on? I didn't tell you to put the bomb on. I was like, dude, you gotta give me a bomb line, and he was friggin' awesome. Like he was so cool.
Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't tell you to.
Hey, who told you to put the bomb on? I didn't tell you to put the bomb.
It's like free coffee for life. Deal. No. I didn't tell you to take the deal.
He was awesome.
That show was brilliant. Absolutely
I
brilliant.
gotta find the picture I have with him so we can put it right up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
right
was
in the middle
awesome.
of the table.
Jackie Childs. That best show ever.
Yes.
So all right, let's talk about fucking off the
digress.
rails. I digress. I do. Well, I didn't expect to tell the cow story. I mean, that came out of nowhere.
Jackie Childs.
Jackie
Jackie
Childs
Childs.
came out of nowhere, and we weren't planning on talking any political stuff. Although that's not political. That's more.
Judicial.
Yeah. I just you mentioned the reel I put
One of the
out.
branches.
You mentioned the reel I put out on Mark Riley Comedy.
Yep.
Might want to give it a follow.
It's a good one.
And it had to do with that. So I was in Canton doing a huge show at the library. The same said library I hid the cow behind. All comes back around.
Did you tell that at the bit at that night?
Oh yeah, I told the whole cow story.
Oh, awesome.
Well, not
You have
that.
to.
I've done 3 shows there because my career is fucking skyrocketing. And I play the Canton Library every year. And so I told the story the first time I was
Charity
there.
work. It
And,
hurts.
Oh, it's terrible. And then I didn't tell it the next two, but I mentioned the Karen Reed thing, and but I didn't mention it. I just said there was no current events in Canton.
Implied.
So Cedric Maxwell, we got to thank you guys. 'Cause
Yes.
you guys made the connection with Cedric Maxwell. He came on and he was fantastic.
Awesome guy.
Episode 62. I mean, the stories he told were great. His reaction when I brought up the story you told us to bring up with the cab ride in Indy was absolutely priceless. But he asked an interesting question. He said, "Who's on your Mount Rushmore of sports?" And
You
I
took
thought
it as
was-
Boston, but yeah.
yeah, but I think and then we broke it down like hockey. You could break it down,
Right.
however
Yep.
you wanted to break it down. But who do you think who's on your Mount Rushmore for Boston?
Great question.
It's a great question.
And he asked this. I'm stealing his thing.
Yeah,
but
I like
it's,
it.
It's a great question. Who's on your Mount Rushmore for Boston?
Or for me, for hockey.
Yep, that's what
And
I said.
I've seen some greats.
Yep,
Bork, Char, Bergeron. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen their whole career. Like,
yep.
it's great. It's
Nifty.
hard to do, but
Yeah,
let's face it. We all know growing up around here, if it's not for Orr and the Big Bad Bruins, hockey's not what it is
No.
around here. That's what really kicked it off
Yep.
around here. That's
100%.
How many MDC rinks got built because of that team?
because of
Because of those
100%.
Basketball, it's really a toss-up. I'm going to say Bird because I watched him play.
Right.
I never saw Bill Russell play, but I mean, the number of championship rings that guy won in a row,
Ridiculous.
and he
Insane.
was going up against Wilt. It wasn't like he had
Yeah.
no competition,
No.
Right.
You're right.
So like,
Yep.
so that's hard, but I would
That's
go with Bird.
basketball is a tough one.
There's a lot of greats.
And there's
Bird
a-
because I saw him.
I mean, Havlicek. You got a couple that you
Yeah.
could throw in there. Kuzi.
Kuzi.
Paul Pierce. I mean, you got a bunch in there, but I think it comes down to Bird and
And
Russell.
Some generation too, right? Who you saw?
Well, that's another thing. That perspective. If you've seen
Right.
him play, that
Even
makes a
Tatum
difference.
now.
Yep.
Yeah.
he's, you
Yeah,
know.
he'll be on people.
Tatum, I'll tell you, my favorite player on this team currently is Derek White.
Yes.
Watch that
he's
guy
right.
play. They don't win
He's
without
awesome.
that guy. I've never seen a guy get, his size, play such strong defense, and he averages like a block and a half or 2 blocks a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's playing defense.
Yeah.
Because he's covering the fastest guy out there, the guard or something.
I would
And
kinda
he's
like-
blocking guys in by the basket, so he's dropping off his guy. Like, just the way he plays his game,
Would you liken him to Cedric Maxwell in the sense that without him they don't win? Because without Maxwell
Max,
they
they
don't
don't
win
win.
81 or
Right.
84.
Yeah.
They don't win either of those championships without him.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and not necessarily style or position or
Nope.
but just that
He was
X
a
factor.
X factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know when you had Max on if he actually told you about when he won the MVP of the finals in '81.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
He
yeah.
got a wristwatch that he still has to this day
Really?
that he brings in to the
That's
Garden.
awesome.
No kidding.
Yeah, yep. And I say, you know what?
Matter of fact, did he mention that?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
the
he did
next
mention it.
year,
Yeah.
someone won something better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
I got
right.
some stinking wristwatch.
Wristwatch,
Yeah.
that's right.
He's like, forget
That's
the
right.
cars and all that.
Yeah.
I got a Timex.
Yeah.
That's right. He did mention that. He did mention that. Yeah. All right.
If I had to, for the Sox,
Another tough one.
Yeah.
my favorite guy, and he wasn't here that long, Pudge Fisk.
Yeah, he was.
right.
Yeah.
But then you got, Poppy. Poppy's a great guy, too.
Poppy,
He-
best clutch hitter ever in baseball, for my money.
Yep.
I put the-
Pedro, dominate. I mean,
I
like,
put that 04 Sox team and the 11 Bruins team, like,
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
you
Very
could have
similar.
mixed those guys. If they
Yeah,
could play
yeah.
both sports, like, those two teams were built exactly the same. Same
Yeah,
type
you're
of
right.
thing.
Dogs.
But
And-
even you talk about the Red Sox. I mean, was there a more dominant right-hand hitter, again, for a period of 8 or 10 years than Jim Rice?
Jim Rice. Oh, yeah.
Mashed
All
the
day.
ball. Crushed it.
All day. And we're not even mentioning, I mean, none of us saw Ted Williams play, but obviously Ted Williams was
Right.
Ted Williams, right? But Jim Rice was incredible.
I think we
Absolutely incredible.
mentioned. We might have mentioned. Jim
We
Rice,
mentioned
yeah.
him. Well, as a matter of fact, I think the reel coming out is you mentioned Jim Rice and how if he's giving you advice, how the hell are you not listening?
Yeah,
Oh,
best
Right?
hitter of all time.
I mean, cut the shit. You know what I mean? So
And then, I mean, if you're going to talk about all-time greats for the rest, I mean, you can't leave Manny off there. As aloof as he was,
He was one of the best.
Sure, I can.
he's a pure.
I can.
I
Only
can.
because I wouldn't put him. It'd be tough to put him above Rice, Yastrzemski.
I'm not saying to put him above, but he's
Athletic
Yeah.
talent, like he was one of the best
just a pure
Well,
hitter,
if you-
right?
if you're
Like
gonna
he
do an
was the best
all-time-
pure hitter we'll ever see.
An all-time Red Sox team, yeah, you'd have to.
Could
you'd
you
have to
catch a
put him
ball,
on.
climb a wall, and high five a guy?
I'm lucky I can fucking sit here and not fall off the chair right now. What are you shitting me?
Gary spilt his water.
I already told the story about how he crushed me in hockey. You think I'm climbing walls?
He thought he was smart enough to duck.
Yeah. Fucking idiot. My
And
head's, it's bringing back muscle memory. I just got a headache.
In the Pats, I mean, it's got to be Brady, right?
Yes.
It has to be.
I don't know how you don't put Brady on
Right.
there. I mean, shit.
I'll tell you
Greatest.
how we don't put him on there.
Gronk.
McCourty twins.
They're
It's
awesome.
a twin thing. You got to stick together.
There you go.
Got to stick
There
together.
you
It's
go.
a twin
That's a great
thing.
answer.
Yeah, but Mount Rushmore only has 4 heads.
2 McCorkles, 2 McCourties.
There you go.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That's pretty good.
The
Boston.
MC,
Yeah.
there you go.
Of course, you
Rushmore,
still you got the Sedin twins too, and I wouldn't put them anywhere.
I think one of them's still getting punched in the face by Mashi.
Yeah.
Right? So Brady, I think Brady is the only one we all agree on.
Yeah.
Although
say so.
Orr, for me,
I mean,
Orr's on there too.
Yeah, I don't
know.
know how I could. And again, like Jackie said, you know, we've had the privilege of watching so many of these other guys.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, Bergie right from day one.
unreal.
But I mean, I don't know how you can't put Orr.
Right.
And again, that's not to take away from anything from Bork or, you know,
No.
Park or any of these other guys.
I
mean,
think that I'll
tremendous.
put Orr up there too. I mean, truth be told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, for me, it's tough. Again, seeing Bird, but Russell is just,
It's hard to argue
Yeah,
with ships.
Yep.
yeah.
It's hard to argue. That's why Brady, like, who has more ships than him, right?
Scoreboard.
It's tough
And
to
again-
argue Russell.
You know, fortunate enough to have met Russell many, many times. Tremendous guy.
Yeah.
That laugh was so infectious. You know,
His book was great. I don't know if you read his book, Red and Me.
I did not.
Oh my God, it is outstanding, and it's all about his relationship with Red Auerbach, and it just and I can read. I don't like to though, because you know I fall asleep or I get distracted, and
Squirrel.
I get him. Yeah, I might have that 4-letter thing, ADHD, and so I got it on tape, and I can't say enough how great that book is, Red and Me. It's such a great book. So,
And again, and you know, not to plug something else, but you know, HBO just did that 8-part series on the Celtics.
Yeah.
And
That was really good.
it's for me, it was one of the best sports, you know, reflections, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, that I've ever seen.
don't spoil it. I'm only on episode 5.
But again, my point was
I don't
going to
wanna
be
know how it ends.
when you
They
wa-
win.
when you watch the begin, when
The
you watch
ship sinks.
Jack Rose. But when you watch those first couple of episodes, and you really, you know, I think a lot of people forget what Russell had to deal with.
Oh yeah.
You know, when he was playing here,
Yep.
and to have to deal with all that on a daily basis, you know,
Yep.
day in and day out,
Right.
and still to perform at the level that he did. And to
Yep.
Jackie's point, you know, he wasn't playing against, you know, rec league guys. He was playing against Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, he was playing against some tremendous individual talents and bigs.
Yeah.
And for what he did so, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm always going to love the guy from French Lick.
Oh, of
You
course.
know,
Yeah.
got to meet him on many, many occasions and you know, watch him play. And when he came back to coaches Indiana, and but for me, for the Celtics, it's close. But
Yeah.
for me, six is gonna have to be there.
I like it.
Yep.
And on the Red Sox, again, never saw Ted play, but obviously probably the purest hitter. You know, we threw out a couple of other names there. Like I said, you know, for that 8 or 9 year period, there was nobody that could hit a ball like Jim Rice.
Right. It's true.
Denny Doyle?
Who?
Denny Doyle?
Denny Doyle.
I mean, Bernie Combo, that one home run. I mean,
Right.
You know.
but I mean Pedro. Was there anybody more dominant in his
No.
in his day?
No.
And again,
No.
He was awesome.
He was nasty.
Yeah, I mean,
And tell you, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then go do it. He was kind of like Bird. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and then do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Pedro. I think of that game in Cleveland, the playoff game, where he came in the second or third inning and basically no-hit him.
Yes.
And they
That
won the
was
game. I mean,
And that Netflix documentary on the team, the comeback, 2004, that's a fantastic documentary, too.
Yankees on my daddy.
Well, and you forget, like, I forgot watching that we had A-Rod for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
A-Rod on the team,
Yeah. Right.
and fucking Nomar was gone,
Yep.
right? And all of a sudden, that fell through. Like, talk about awkward.
and Nomar
Right?
didn't forget that.
Oh, no, he didn't. But that, I forgot all about that. You forget about those things, you know? And you brought up the Celtics, like, talking about Bill Russell and what he went through. And I think a lot of people forget how great Red was. How great Red Auerbach was as a GM and a coach. And the ability and the vision of his to, you know, not give a shit about who you were or what you looked like. He wanted to win. And he wanted the best players, and he went out and got them. You know,
And those guys played for him.
oh, they'd run through a wall for him. And that, you know, it's a great documentary. It really is. So, and Max asked the Mount Rushmore of all sports. And that was tricky.
It is. It's a great question.
Because you got, like, you know, Tiger, you got
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Yeah, you brought up Nicholas. I
Muhammad-
brought up Pele.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
He got brought up,
That's
yeah.
a good one. You know, there's just so many in that I don't know how you'd whittle it down to 4. I really don't. I mean, I think the only one that I think would be on anyone's, all right, and this is biased, but I think it's Tom Brady. I don't know. I mean, who else dominated their
In
league
football?
like him?
In football, yeah, I'm
No
sure.
one's even close
I'm
to
sure
7
people. I'm sure there's
fucking
plenty of
There's a
people
lot of haters.
that would bring
Oh,
up
there's a ton of
a
haters.
lot of different names, but
But I always say you can't argue championships. You can't argue winning. I don't care that Peyton Manning could throw the ball better in certain ways or whatever, or, you know, Aaron Rodgers was more athletic. No one won 7.
No.
How do you argue that?
Right.
no.
I don't know how you argue that. I mean, you can.
I mean, Marino, one of the most pure passes in the NFL, and
Never won.
won one.
Like Jim Kelly, fantastic quarterback.
Yep.
Never won. And they're great, and they might be better in certain things than Brady, but Brady won. Simple. And he never lost by double digits, and he never threw interceptions like Patrick Mahomes. I hope that gets put to bed. The whole Patrick Mahomes is the new GOAT. He fucking sucked last year in that Super Bowl. Brady never sucked in a Super Bowl. Everyone that he lost, he threw 500 and something yards in the Philly one
And lost.
and lost.
And lost.
Never did he perform poorly in a Super Bowl. And in all his Super Bowls, he had less interceptions than Mahomes has had in his, 4? And Brady's been the 10.
Brady
I'll get
had
off this-
Belichick, though.
I'll get off this pedestal. He has the walrus. Mahomes has the walrus.
That's true.
Andy Reid. If that fucking don't look like a walrus, I don't know who does. I mean, cut the shit. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox about Brady. I don't know. I have an unhealthy love for that
crush?
man. And when he was with Giselle, I mean, come on. You jump in that bed, doesn't matter what side you land on, you're having fun. I'm man enough to admit that.
Something else I didn't have in my bingo card.
Bingo! I think we're full.
How do you not have this shit? And you know me.
I thought you changed.
I went further.
We're playing
the
coverall
path.
tonight.
Yeah. And can you imagine? I don't drink. That's a little scary. Well, I mean, this has been awesome because you get to reminisce. Like you said, you know, there's certain people that you grow up with when you don't see them forever. And then you see them. I know you have friends like this. Everyone has friends like this. Neil Cronin's one for
Neil
me
Cronin.
that we grew up with. You know, I haven't talked to him in a while. When I talk to him, it's like, bang, we're right back. You know, I mean, we all have those people like that.
Another
And,
thug from Riverdale.
Going to the Dude
another
Ranch in
kid
2
from-
weeks with all my friends from Celtics. I saw him last year at the Dude Ranch. I'll see him again. We talk every day, but we don't see each other.
Bunch of salty kids at a dude ranch. What could go wrong?
Another
year.
thing I didn't have on my bingo card.
Every year there's a poor horse headed to the glue factory.
We tell our kids those ones retired.
You've heard of the thing, don't beat a dead horse? They do. That's how they do it in Salty. No, but it's been cool because you bring a perspective that, you know, that's not, it's hard to find, you know, from the job you do at the garden, and then to reminisce and just talk shit about stuff from back in the day. It's great stuff, you know? It's great stuff. It really is. So, appreciate you coming on.
This has been
Yes,
great.
thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys having us.
No, this has been awesome. You know, and again, just 4 guys just chopping it up and talking about anything.
That's-
right?
that-
You know, you throw a topic out and
That's what this podcast is. We always say there's no script. There's no, we don't
No,
have questions.
nothing.
We don't have
You
anything.
didn't prep with anything? It was,
I didn't, you two were the two that I didn't have to research.
We prepped till we got off the exit. I go, all right, so what do these 2 guys do again?
Who are these two?
It's true. He goes, so what's their story? I go, don't worry, I'll take lead.
well, I prepped a little bit on the ride up on the limo that you sent me to pick me up.
Oh yeah. That was. Did you get that? We
You
sent
get the
it.
champagne and the.
I said you could ride up with us. 'Cause we
He
come
did.
from the
He did
exact
offer,
same-
but I was coming from
'cause
work.
We're all down south.
Down south.
But you were coming
Yeah,
from work.
we've had a couple of trips with some guests. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
Chappie.
have been the best parts.
Kevin
Chappie,
Chapman.
great guy.
Chappie's
Oh,
awesome.
great guy.
Chappie
He
was
drove
funny.
up with us.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Smoking
Jamie
cigars.
Parker. Jamie Parker drove up with us.
Jamie, another
Yeah,
awesome
she was great.
person. Jerry Thornton. Who's better
Great
than
guy.
Jerry?
Jerry was funny.
We
My
had
ribs
a-
hurt the whole ride
Oh,
up and back.
We
yeah.
laughed the whole freaking ride.
We quoted Slapshot the whole ride. guys.
The whole ride up.
I golfed one day with Chappie. Because his mutual friend, Brick, Andy Brick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who's eventually going to come on?
Yeah. So
We're
we
gonna
were
golf with him too.
Yeah.
a great golfer. Great
Oh
golfer.
yeah.
If you get him on, ask him about the first time he played golf with Jim and I down at Massholes Country Club.
Ooh.
All right.
That's what Jamie Parker's tournament is every year.
Oh, is it?
Marshville Country Club. Yeah, I'm a celebrity in that tournament.
And if he doesn't tell you,
Jamie's
and if he,
She
Big-
struggles. to
big
get-
names. Big
and
names.
if he doesn't tell you, we played the front 9, and there was a Bauer skate guy,
Yeah,
older guy, he was
older
probably,
gentleman.
probably 75 or 80, and he hit the ball straight, and he was great. But after 9, he's like, I'm done. So Brick took him back to the clubhouse. If he doesn't tell you that for a split second he didn't think about just not coming back, because that's how good we were.
Well, I'm sure.
No, but so we were golfing with Chappie, and what was that show they filmed in Boston? They filmed it up in Revere that Chappie was on. Kevin Bacon was in it. Not was it Kevin?
Yeah, it was Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. It was
Uh,
on Showtime.
I know. I watched it.
Brothers?
Now, everything.
No.
Not Brotherhood. That was he played Freddie Quirk.
Yeah.
And had the 14-inch.
We'll think of the
silhouette.
name. But he tells the story.
No, not Monument Ave.
nope.
The fuck was the name of
Name
that
of that
show?
show.
I have no idea.
It was a great show.
Great
too.
show. Great show.
Now I
It was
gotta-
based
you
on,
know
He's
what?
got to look it up.
I said I wasn't going to do this, but I got to look that up because now that's
No,
gonna
it's,
bug me.
it's a great show.
Yeah.
God damn it! What was it called?
Kevin Bacon was a corrupt cop in it.
Yeah.
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 Okay, yeah.
So he's in the show, and we're playing golf, and I was like, "Gee, Chappie, when are we gonna, see you next? And the next episode, like you're doing great." And he's like, "Funny thing, I got to tell you." So I'm feeling my oats. This show's going great and everything else. And I said, "Got the script?" And he's like, "Hey, I don't really have a lot in this script. I don't have a lot to say. I'm not doing a lot." And he's
City on a hill.
sitting
City on a hill.
Yeah.
City on a hill.
God damn it! It's based in on Charlestown.
Yeah.
City on a
Yeah.
hill.
And he
Yeah.
says,
God damn it! Monument Ave was stuck in my
Yeah.
head because that was
And the
based there too.
producer's
So
like-
that was a movie.
"Look, this is what we're doing." And Chappie's like, "No, I want more. Like, I want to be in the show more." He says, "I get the rewrite of the script. Elevator door opens. I take a bullet to the head." I said, "So what does that mean?" He goes, "I don't ask for any more lines."
You say thank you, and you practice your 2 lines.
That's awesome.
He's awesome. Chappie's great.
Yep.
He was a great guest too.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, not as great as you two. I say that because you're here.
Right.
No, No,
And you
And,
know what, Jack?
and he doesn't want to get hit going up the boards.
no, I'll never duck again. I'm just gonna sack tap you and run.
And maybe your golf partners this week, maybe they can plug the podcast for us.
Yeah, there you go.
I will tell them you
Yeah.
play with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you.
We'll
yeah.
have to ask. Maybe.
Well, what we need to do is we got to go out
Yeah.
and force them.
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys have invited me many times to play Granite Links, and I always have some stupid shit going on.
Yeah, one year was the sock throw. The other year was he had a.
No, I've always wanted to play that.
Walk the dog.
Walk the
Walk the
dog.
dog one day. I think
Listen,
he had to do.
I didn't have a dog. I do now. Frankie Chirps.
I believe
Follow
it.
Follow him on Instagram. Frankie Chirps on Instagram. He's in full
He was
ride.
tired of
He's
lying.
got a
He had to walk
girlfriend,
the dog,
too.
so he went and bought a
He went
dog.
and bought a dog.
I may have. No, I've always wanted, but my family's been members. You know my family
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
They've
Doc
been
Riley's
members
up-
there
Doc
since.
Riley's up there.
I always see Doc Riley
He's
up
been a member since before it opened.
How do you not just go up there and just play?
Because I grew up Irish Catholic. We don't deserve
Doesn't like him
anything.
very much.
Come on.
Brother doesn't like him very much.
My brother loves me. He's maybe mad because I never pay him for my teeth. These are all mine. By the way, he dropped me as soon as my nephew, Eddie, who's now the Bruins dentist, as soon as Eddie became a dentist, my brother was like, you're going to him now. So now I don't pay my nephew.
And still have great teeth.
These are all mine. None of these are fake. These are all, I had like the fillings and stuff and crowns, but these aren't, I never lost them.
Oh
So-
no, I have some fake ones.
Yeah?
In the front
Oh, yeah.
here.
Yeah.
4th grade Oakdale School playing dodgeball in the gym.
Can't play that anymore.
Oh, I play in my gym class.
I dove.
First graders, yeah.
No, they
Learn a lot of life lessons when you take the ball in the face. Dodgeball.
I actually dove.
And an altar boy, too.
I actually dove for a ball, caught it, and my head went through my hands.
Right into the, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and tooth went right through my bottom lip.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But I got up. I kept playing.
Now that Gen X, another Gen X, when we played dodgeball, we played with the rubber balls.
red
Red
rubber
Red
ball
rubber
with
balls
the.
that were a little smaller but pumped up too hard, so they were like rocks. Remember,
yeah.
I've told the story, Mr. Lally,
Oh,
freshman year in gym class. Freshman year, first gym class, we lined up on the wall, we played bombardment with those balls. And
With
his
him throwing
balls
them.
flew out a few times out of those white shorts. It was horrifying.
And Mr.
fucking
Lally at
horrible.
one point was Mr. Massachusetts, by the way. So I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I always say he was a bodybuilder and football coach. So whatever horrifying image popped in your head just now, that was him.
My
And he was a great guy.
My bio
tremendous.
teacher was also the strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, well, yeah.
and mind you, he had big hands. So when he's got these dodgeballs that he's throwing at you, thing looked like a golf ball in his hand, and it's coming out of his hand like a golf ball.
Fired him. He was awesome though. He would tell remember Jack Gaffney?
Oh yeah.
Jack would always be in trouble, and he'd be like, "Jack, go beat up that kid for me because I can't do it. I might be telling too much." But yeah,
Brother Prey.
Brother Prey. All right, so Brother Prey. All right, Gen X. All right, he had a ring like this, class ring. Turn it like that, and walk up and down the aisle and hit you in the back of the head with it if you pissed
Oh,
him
yeah.
off. Swear to God.
That is
a
not a
ring
lie.
like this,
That is
class ring.
fact.
He would hit you in the back of the head with this ring. And we didn't have concussions in the rink or in the field. We got them in the English class. It's crazy.
And if you went
Makes a
home,
lot of sense.
If you went home and told your parents, Brother Prey hit me, what did you do?
Yeah, what
Right.
did
That
you
was
do?
the first question.
Yeah.
What did
you
you do to get hit? And then you get hit again. That's why.
Aren't you concerned I got hit?
Nah,
Catholic Church is
no,
doing real
No,
good.
not
right
at
now.
all.
His other trick, God rest his soul. I love Brother Prey.
He was great.
I never forget. He took me to Grill 23 on a Friday during Lent, and he had steak and I had chicken. And halfway through, I go, it's a Friday, right, during Lent? And he was like, not if we don't admit it. He kept eating.
There's no Lent police.
He was,
Oh,
not that we know.
Your mother was the Lent police.
He was a large guy.
yes.
Brother Prey. And the other thing he would do is he'd say, put your feet out. You'd put your feet out in front of your desk, and he'd stand on them and jump up and down on your feet. He weighed, 420? I mean, he was a big man. Fucking jump up and down on your feet. That's what he would do to punish you. I'm not making this shit up.
Why do you think we all walk the line right now?
Yeah. Very good.
I tell this to my students sometimes, and they're like, "No, that didn't happen." I'm like, "Yeah, my physics teacher, Coach Prev,
Coach Brown.
Yeah.
he'd grab whatever was there and throw it at you. Could be a metal truck, could be a block of wood, whatever he was
Could be
using.
a student.
Could have been a smaller student. Like seriously, you throw shit at us, right?
Yeah.
But we grew up. We know what the word respect means,
Yes.
and we know what the word accountable means. Unlike many people in this world.
And actions have consequences.
Oh,
They do.
yes, they do.
Wow.
Instant sometimes.
Tell my 9-year-old that.
Well, tell any 9-year-old that, right? If I ever ran for governor, which I wouldn't because I'd never win because there's too many skeletons, but if I ever ran for governor, my
Think the cow would come
platform,
back and bite you?
oh, more than that, I would give everyone 3 chips. This is what I'd run on. And the 3 chips would be if you had a legitimate reason, you could cash in a chip and beat the bag out of someone to hold them accountable for something they did. Now, you couldn't just go willy-nilly with the chips. It would have to be a legitimate reason. And if it was deemed legitimate, you turned in a chip, you beat the bag out of them. You didn't go home angry. And they were held accountable, so they won't do what they
My
did.
chips would be gone on
You'd
the
be-
ride
they'd be
up
gone
here
in an
alone.
hour. Your chips will last an hour.
On the ride up here alone, my chips would be
But
gone.
think about it. Not a bad idea. Well, all right. Maybe in some ways it's a bad idea.
Well, that Amazon guy going slow
in
in the fast
theory-
lane, like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, you
That's
wanted
not a
to-
legit reason.
But in theory, yeah, Amazon punching Bezos with all cashing out chips. Of course, he'd turn them into crypto. But all right, it's not a good idea. But that was my platform I'd run on. I'm never running.
These are long endings.
They never end.
We do this long. Yeah.
This is like a date in 9th grade. We don't know how to end it. That's what it is. We just rock and hope someone makes a move, and then we run. It's pretty much what we do. So, but no, this has been awesome.
This
It's
is
been
great.
a lot of fun.
No, absolutely.
And
Appreciate you guys having us.
Yes.
we'll
thanks for
play
having
golf.
us.
We
will play golf.
Not disc golf, real golf.
Go down the Harmon Club.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
Granite
interested in
Links.
the disc
Granite
golf.
Links. You know
I'll
what?
go to Granite Links, yeah.
We're going to play real golf and disc golf this summer. We're going to do both.
All right.
How do you like that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
He's like, I don't give a fuck. Boy. Tell me where to go.
Tell me where to go.
Pick me up.
I just got to go to the bathroom. Just end this.
No one has a tinier bladder than Geno Binda Jr.
So what story did you want to tell next?
Yeah, we probably should end it here. No. No, but Jack and Jim McCorkle, our guest tonight, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a fucking blast.
Yes.
Nope, appreciate
And
it.
hopefully
Great
you,
catching up. Great meeting you.
Yes, great meeting you guys.
Now I see how Riles gets things done. You're
Yes.
the brains behind the operation here.
Yep, right on. Like you talked about him from going over
I
the
couldn't
edge. I
keep
try
a
to keep him.
straight
I
face.
try to keep him on the ledge. Like,
Yeah,
but
he's-
I try to keep him, but
No,
Try-
no. There's a
But
line.
a kid from Southeast trying to keep me on the edge. Do the math.
so we
somebody
have
once,
no hope.
Like somebody once told me, and it's a great piece of advice. You don't miss curfew by 1 minute. You're gonna miss it.
Oh,
Come in
Matt.
tomorrow. Come in tomorrow night.
that's
You better
good advice.
Better off asking for forgiveness than permission. There you
So
go.
just don't,
another good piece of advice.
just don't crawl over the line. Like
No, you blow
That's a
right
very good
past
point.
it, right? I like that. Look at that advice on Chirping Zebras. We're here to educate as well, not just to entertain. If you're still watching, we hope you enjoyed this stupidity for however long we've been going. But this has been a blast. So, guys, thank you. You'll see them at the Garden. If you go to the Garden, you'll see Jack and Jim protecting someone. Might be me. Actually, you did.
I did.
You walked me up.
Yep.
Brick said, come up to the booth in between, and we'll send a security guard. And I said, well, maybe Jack will bring me up. And he said, no. He only escorts important people. And next thing I know, he's pulling me out of my seat. Let's go.
Hey, there's a D-list celebrity in town. There's a comedian.
I'll take it.
He had
All right.
Josh there following with a camera.
Hey, fake it till you make it.
Facebook Live.
That's it. Well, we get kicked off TikTok every time.
Yeah,
because
well,
I
we
say,
did like the first 5 minutes today.
because I always use the word you're not supposed to use. There's so many words you can't use now. It's terrible.
height.
It's awful.
Like, remember when George Collins said there was only 7?
Yeah.
Only 7.
I'm not going to say him.
Oh, come on. You always say it.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. And tits doesn't even belong on the list. It's like a snack.
Every time we bring him up, you got to do that.
I got it, yeah, that's true.
Come on. That ain't going
A lot of
on
car
reel.
rides with my father. Sorry.
That'll be cut.
No, that'll be in, but it won't be a reel. No, there's so many words you can't use, and it's ridiculous now. But we don't want to start on that because we're trying to end this thing, and we'll go off on that forever. I mean, think of it: the M word, the R word, the P word. You can't say anything anymore. You know, it's ridiculous. Not going there. Not gonna say them. I so want to say them. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wrap this shit up. Jack and Jim McCorkle have been our guests. Want to thank our sponsor, the Referee's Crease, one-stop shop for all your referee needs. I want to thank AOA Studios, where we tape this silliness, and they do a great job up here in Beverly in the Cummings Center. I want to thank everyone for watching. We want to remind you to like and subscribe. Smash that like and subscribe button. That's how the young kids say it. Follow us on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and
The TikTok.
thank you.
And don't forget to catch us on Full Ride. Pat Shea's final episode comes out this Thursday. It will already be out, so binge watch the whole episode.
Yes.
Me and Riley crushed it as coaches.
Absolutely. Full Ride, Pat Shea, our buddy Pat Shea. Got to check that out, absolutely. And it doesn't hurt to check out markrileycomedy.com if, you're looking for a laugh. I'm above average. So for that, that's what I shoot for. I nail it every time. That's going to do it. Chirping Zebras, episode 66, the Mario Lemieux episode. We'll see you next time right here on Chirping Zebras.